Bonjour tout le monde, très content d'être avec vous. Bienvenue au documentaire Global Grappling. Aujourd'hui, je vous amène visiter Total Martial Arts Center. C'est situé en Ontario, au Canada. Les deux personnes que je viens interviewer aujourd'hui sont deux personnes extrêmement importantes pour moi. C'est deux personnes qui m'ont permis d'évoluer beaucoup dans mon parcours en jiu-jitsu brésilien. C'est deux amis, c'est deux gars qui sont dévoués à la pratique des arts martiaux. Il s'agit de Ghislain Aubé, alias Juice, et Mathieu Poulain, le propriétaire de l'académie TMAC.
Bonjour.
Allô.
Ça va?
Ça va bien, toi?
Oui, ça va, merci.
Where's Matt? Yeah.
My name is Matthew Poulain. I'm from Timmins, Ontario, Canada. I am the owner of a Total Martial Arts Center downtown.
Real name, Ghislain Aubé. Everybody calls me Juice. Wrestling coach up in Timmins. I've been wrestling since the age of 13, and I'm 45 now. So 32 years. Nationally ranked coach. Coach the wrestling team here in town at the high school with my sons on it. BTT, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Been doing Jiu-Jitsu since 2010. It was pretty much my midlife crisis. I needed to learn something else, So new language, new sport, new something, and chance meeting with Matt, the owner of TMAC, just brought on the BTT Jiu-Jitsu, and yeah, 15 years later, I'm almost 3 years into my black belt and still learning every day. So that's my story.
I started training at the Total Martial Arts Center in 1999. When I was 15 years old, I trained here full time. I was training more and more and more every day. And after a while, my instructor retired. And for the last 16 years, I've been running it as a full-time profession. I was probably one of the first people in Northern Ontario to run a full-time academy. And we do Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, those ones right there are major ones.
I pretty much started at a professional wrestling show, because back then with my high school wrestling team, we used to run the canteen at the wrestling show, and Matt had a booth with his twin brother representing TMAC and trying to just get the word out there. And like I said, I was 30 years old. My life was completely changing. Me and my wife were having our first son. Our life was changing, and I needed something different. And like I said a while ago, I was looking into maybe another job, learning a new language, learning a new sport. I didn't know what was going on. And at the professional wrestling show, I scooted over to Matt's booth just to get a little bit of information. And right off the bat, I got a really, really, really good vibe off of him. And he invited me out to train with them. So that Tuesday, I think, I came out, because when I first started, I refused to do gi. Wrestlers don't do gi, So I did all the no-gi wrestling and the no-gi jiu-jitsu classes, and I did that for about a year of just strictly no-gi. And I was loving it. I was half and half. I was half wrestling, half jiu-jitsu, no-gi. Loving every second of it. And then I said, you know what? I said, might as well bite the bullet and put on the gi. And I put on the gi. And that's pretty much when my entire life changed after that. When it came to martial arts, it was so foreign and so new to me. And after doing the same sport for almost 15 years at the time, to have something that I wasn't good at and I had to work at just gave me more motivation to come back. And basically the weeks led to months, led to years, led to new belts. And November of 2021, I was awarded my black belt by Fabio Holanda and Matt Poulain at a seminar in Rouen. And that's the day our good man here, Pascal, got his purple belt. So he got his purple belt, I got my black belt same day. And otherwise from that, my relationship with Matt, over the years, he's become my best friend. Basically, anything we have, we bounce off of each other. Hey, I got this idea, let's try this out. Okay, cool. It comes in. Hey, I got this idea, let me bounce it off you. And we just when it comes to the grappling and the wrestling, our minds just sync together, and off we go. It's beautiful friendship, and it's a beautiful working relationship when it comes to jiu-jitsu.
Would you tell us a little bit more about your story, your jiu-jitsu journey?
Jiu-jitsu? Yeah. Okay. So another thing we started with in Timmins was my instructor brought a man from Russia over. He taught Russian Sambo for a long time. And so the original grappling art at TMAC was Russian Sambo. And when I started learning it, I was always this tall, skinny guy, and I didn't really have a body type for wrestling or Sambo. So I was the kind of like, they called me the jiu-jitsu guy of Sambo. It's because I was kind of, I knew what guard was, so I was always putting them in guard. They'd wrestle me, I'd put them down to guard, submit them off my back, and we did that for the first few years, from 1999 to about 2004. I did submission grappling, a little bit of gi that we learned from seminars, and Russian Sambo, and then I had an opportunity to train in Montreal at Gamma at the time, which was they brought Fabio Londa in. I think it was 2005 or late 2004. He came over from Brazil, and it was perfect opportunity because I was training more in Montreal with like Kali and Muay Thai too, and they just invited me to be a part of the original Brazilian top team. And I guess I was one of the original members, but also I lived so far that I didn't know most of the members over there either. So I was doing things with private lessons with Sean Locke, Philip Jean, Fabio Londa, people like that. And I did that. And then I started with them in 2005, and I was a long time white belt to. I think I got my blue belt in 2009, just because of there's no internet as much back then. We didn't really share techniques. I'd have to travel to Montreal, which was 9-10 hours away, learn like 2-3 techniques, train, and then come back. And I did that for a long, long time. But then I had so much experience doing that. Then I got like my purple belt under Fabio 2-3 years later. Then I got my brown belt under Fabio 2-3 years later. And then I got my black belt from Fabio 2 years after that. And now this year I'm already going for my third degree black belt. So in December, I'm eligible for my third degree. So that's a long time now.
Congrats. Congrats. And that's a very inspiring story, I would say. That's a long journey. And I would add, it's not the easiest one.
One thing I really enjoyed about that thing is it made me a better student. So people who go, sometimes people think the grass is greener on the other side or whatever. So the people who are training with, like, let's say Fabio full time, they don't really appreciate it as much, right? Yeah. Where they're like, oh, I'll learn, fool around, whatever. But when I was there, I really needed to learn things, or whoever I was with. I did private lessons with a lot of people too. I would really need to learn those damn techniques, to learn them, to bring them over to Timmins. So I studied, and those were the only techniques I would try in sparring when I would get back to master them. Then after a while, people in BTT would actually ask me about curriculum questions because I knew the curriculum better than almost everybody. Yeah. Now the curriculum's a little bit different now, so I got to learn it again. But as soon as I learn it all, I'll be that guy again, where I'll have the curriculum mastered, technically everything down pat. That's always my goal, is to have it better than everybody else. The only person who should be better than me is Fabio at it. That's my goal.
Ça pourrait être quoi les secrets pour avoir une solide entreprise d'arts martiaux ou pour rebâtir un super bon club de jiu-jitsu à partir de rien?
Patience. You got to work at everything. Every day you're learning something new. Just keep working at it. There's no truer sense than when they say, in order to master something, you got to do it 10,000 times. And that's what it is. Here are moves. You want to master the move, you got to do it 10,000 times. So you got to be very dedicated to your sport. And for me, there's no big secrets. I do my wrestling like I do my jiu-jitsu, right? I keep it very simple. There's no 10-point moves and it's switch. Everything I do is just basic. I grab a Kimura, I work off the Kimura. I grab a half guard, I work off the half guard. I always get my base in, and then I expand from there. But never will you see me come in and start with a jumping something or something fancy. I don't get me wrong, I'm like everybody else. I love to practice it in class, but to try to build an entire game off of that is impossible. It's just I stick to the basics. Another key to it, and here at TMAC and Timmins are my training partners. Some of my training partners I've had for the entire 15 years. When I was awarded my black belt, I was awarded my black belt with three others that basically grew up with me in the sport. We all pretty much started at the same time. Uh, I tested with one for my blue belt. I tested with another one for my purple belt. I tested with another one with my brown belt. And for us to get all of our black belts together was very special for me. So yeah, building a great team around you, where you could trust each other and just work well with each other and just understand each other's needs, right? If partner A needs a lot of help with this wrestling, then I'll come in and I'll help him with my wrestling, whereas I'm lacking with my judo. So the judo black belt will come and help me with my judo, and we just work on each other constantly, right? And it's as I get better, they get better, and as they get better, I get better. So it's a very family oriented thing, and I joke a lot when it comes to our team, but uh, some people call it a team, some people call it a cult. I'm at the point where I don't know the difference. If jujitsu and my jujitsu club is a cult, then I guess I'm a cult member and I'm loving every second of it, right? I wouldn't switch it for anything. This is pretty much who I hang out with. This is who I live with. This is who I love. This is what I love. So these are my people, and no matter what, I will always stick with them. And that's the base I find through everything, even more than technique and everything. You want to build a good, strong team. You gotta have good, strong partners and good leaders that take the lead when the lead needs to be taken.
The topic of this documentary is about how to build the best academy, the best martial arts academy from scratch.
Okay, so that's another thing. When I took over the academy, people always thought, "Oh, Matt, you're so lucky. You were given or you bought an academy that was already established." When I got the TMAC, I had 20 members, and I think 13 of them weren't even paying. You know what I mean? So it was actually like pretty much failing business. It was all just a few mats, a couple pads, and I had to build it up from the floor, the ground level up. So I bought mats, I had to buy pads, I had to do everything from pretty much square one. People always don't recognize that just because I bought an established business, but it was pretty much zero. Then the highest I ever got it to, before COVID, was I had 315 students at one point. You know what I mean? So from let's say six paying students to 300. Now it floats around 250, 275 sometimes, and stuff like that. But it was all incremental. So that means I didn't rush to go to the top of the best of the best. I started with a small academy on Balsam, which is 3 blocks away. Then we moved to Pine, which was a little bit bigger. Then we moved here. I bought this building now, so I'm one of the only probably academy owners that own my own building. So, and it's a little bit smaller, but if you see it, everything was incremental. So I bought mats, I bought this, and then it's all about making connections with people too, right? So not only you don't just need equipment like this, you actually need to make connections with people. You need to bring them up to where they want to be. So if you get enough people to where they want, you'll get to kind of where you want, because they'll invite more people, and you'll just bring everyone up together. And I've had students for 15 years plus, and we're probably one of the only academies that have that kind of retention too in the North. So it's all about incrementally getting a little bit better. And another thing is, when I was traveling a lot, I've been all over the world for martial arts. I was the national coach twice. I've gone to like ONE FC gyms. What are those called? Evolve gyms. I've seen some of the most beautiful gyms in the world, and I always take something I like, and I always try to bring something back from that. And then I also find things I don't like. And if I find that there's a common denominator of like something like that, I'll try to remove it too. But if I find something I like, I always try to add. So that's one of my secrets right there.